Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the Project Cast 2 Apex Online Racing LMP2 League on the PC season number 1, and this is round number 1 from Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit. My name is Thompson and I will be commentating for you guys tonight. I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic, having a great day and a great evening, and I'm absolutely looking forward to this cracker of a season. We've had a very interesting pre-season race just a week ago, and tonight the season officially kicks off with the first round here from Australia. So let's have a look at, where did I put it? I think here. This is the roster for the season so far. I'm not quite sure why there are 27 drivers on this list, but that's what I took from the forums. So if you don't have a favourite driver yet, pick a name you like, a car you like, a livery you like, a team name you like, and go root for them. It's definitely going to be an interesting season. We've got very different handling cars in this LMP2 league. We'll talk about some issues that might arise, especially on this track today. We'll talk about that a bit later. Who won the last season? This is the first LMP2 season, actually. So I can't answer that question, unfortunately, because, well, it's the first season. Obviously, there have been endurance leagues in the past. I think there were 2. And I know season 2 at least was LMP2 plus GT3, because I did participate in that, but that was, I think, in 2017, I want to say. Not quite sure on that, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, I think the drivers are still in their pre-race drivers briefing, just going through a couple of things. What to look out for, especially due to the nature of the track. And then we will get underway shortly. So kind of have a look at the season calendar. This is what is going to await us for this season. Obviously, that Road America round was the pre-season race. That happened last week. And then this week, the season properly kicks off with 80 minutes at Bathurst, and we'll have Mugello, another 80-minute race, then 60 minutes on the combined Nürburgring. That's definitely going to be an interesting one, seeing LMP2 cars battling on the Nordschleife, and then we'll have Spa, a 60-minute race, then the 2.4 hours of Le Mans, and then we'll round off the season in Portugal with another 60-minute race. So tonight we'll have a 15-minute qualifying session, unless they've changed that to 20 minutes. I know there's been talk, but I unfortunately can't look it up in-game. The lobby won't let me. So we'll see, but usually it's 15 minutes of qualifying at 5 o'clock, so it'll be pretty dark. And then at 6 o'clock, with 10 times time acceleration, we'll have the 80-minute race. So we'll start very early in the morning, drive through the day, and then throughout the race, or to the end of the race, the sun should be setting again. So definitely an interesting race. We'll have different conditions. We'll have different strategies. Obviously, we've got different cars, drivers of different pace, so should be very, very interesting. As we're now finally loading into the lobby. So good evening to everybody who's now tuning in. Good to see you. We had a lot of viewers last week, so thanks for that. Great reception on that stream. And obviously hello to everyone who's back, and to everyone who's new tonight. So good evening. Alright, still waiting for the lobby at the moment. Shouldn't take too long, I hope. And then we will get going with qualifying. 6.2 kilometer track here at Bathurst, 23 turns. And obviously we've got the 2 long straights and then the top of the hill section, which is going to be very interesting. And there we go. The lobby has loaded in. So let's see who's going to be the first out of the pits. Let's switch over to the race lobby. There we go. And you'll get some sound as well. And was it the gnome? Let's have a look at the map. There's actually someone ahead of him. Is it Exus, perhaps? Let's have a look. I can find him. There's a very long list here. And then we'll just have a look around the track. No, unfortunately can't find him at the moment, but doesn't matter. We'll go ahead with the gnome here in the black and bright pink liveried car. And have a look how we can fare around the track. Warming up tyres and brakes, obviously, at the out on the outlap here. Just having a look. There he is, the gnome in the Ligier JSP2 Nissan, by far the most popular car in the league. For example, we've got 3 Oricas tonight, 3 RWDs, and 1 Marek, if I can see that correctly. No, two Mareks. So yeah, most of them are the Ligiers. Some of them running Honda engines, but most of them with the Nissan engines. Right, I hope the audio levels should be okay. I've been playing around with them a bit, so if you've got anything to add, please let me know. That would be very kind of you. As now coming around the final corner to start his first flying lap. You can still see people coming out of the pits. I hope there's not going to be any issues with traffic here. The lap is pretty long, so it should be okay. As you can see, someone getting out of the way there. And let's just go on board here with the gnome for first lap around Mount Panorama circuit here, coming up the mountain straight and into turn 2. That is quarry, and then up into 3 and 4, the cutting here. Very tight left into an even tighter left, and then up the hill. A lot of swooping corners up here as we're now coming through Frog Hollow and Solomon Park. Oops, that was not the optimal line from the gnome here. Now this part here is called Skyline because, well, I mean, you can see it in the distance really. As we now come to the S's, where the track drops back down the hill, very fast sweeping section. Very satisfying when you get it right, but very easy to get it wrong as we come through Forest Elbow and down onto Conrod Straight, which apparently allegedly has its name because Conrods like to go flying down here. As we come over this crest here and into this slight right-hand kink, obviously full flat in these cars, and then into the chase. Left and right chicane, and now we're already on our way to the last corner of the track, turn number 23, 90-degree left-hander, and then back onto the start-finish straight, and that is a lap at Mount Panorama. There we go, the gnome currently setting the fastest lap time. 4 cars have crossed the track, so we'll see what good lap times look like as ultimate with a 1:54. Having a very good race last week round, so we'll definitely be somewhere towards the top, we should expect. Got an Andrex fan in chat, hello to you. As a Speedy Go with a 1:52 now, as does Tomberhawks. 152.166. Currently on provisional pole position. Just having a look if I can find Andrex for you. Can't really, there he is. He's currently sitting P5, one of the few drivers in the Orica, as he hits the wall. We have been joking in the drivers' lounge on Discord about me probably saying that a lot tonight. I hope for the drivers that's not going to be the case, but due to the nature of the track, also very close, and top of the hill is not an easy section, so yeah, it might happen a bit more than usual that that sentence has to be said. But, just having a look, Bogey being the driver that was very, very, very quick, almost in his own league last week in the pre-season race. He's currently down in 18th, but looking quick on track at the moment. So is he completing a lap now? Yes, he is. Improves by 6 seconds, and that puts him on provisional pole position with 151.869. Wasn't expecting any less from the Norwegian, as he puts himself on provisional pole, and confirming that his strong pace last week wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Inky Chris currently sitting P6. The other Orica driver we have tonight, I think Karen B is not here this evening. So only 2 Oricas. The open cockpit cars, very easy to spot. There's a bit of a wiggle through the mid-corner, and I think he might have aborted that lap. I'm not quite sure on that yet. Let's get the speed up here as well. At the moment it still seems going for it, so yeah, about a 10th down here in the first sector split. Has now dropped down to 7th. Got 32 drivers tonight. Atomic, the only one who hasn't set a time yet. And we've got a couple of penalties already, so we'll keep an eye out on that. So at the moment, Eisenschenk will get a 1-place grid drop, Average Boy with 2, Crab with 1, and then we've got Admiral Lovered also with 1 grid place penalty at the moment. Oh, unfortunately, I missed the second sector split for Inky Chris, so I'm not quite sure if he's up on his previous best at the moment. Maybe you guys did spot that. But he is definitely staying out for now. He's going to complete the lap. Let's see if he can improve. Nope, 2 seconds off. So must have made a mistake somewhere, probably through the S's, I'd imagine. I think that might have been Ultimate coming out of the pits. Yes, there he is. So he's going out on another stint. We've got 6.5 minutes remaining in the session currently. Unlike last week in the pre-season race, the battle for pole position is a bit closer. So currently still Bogefrance on pole, as he looks to be in a fast lap. Second place currently 3/10 behind Tumberhawk, so a Scandinavian front row there, as Tumberhawk's actually up by 1.8 tenths. So I have to have an eye out on that. And Gwegwin in third, currently 4 tenths off pole position with a 152.2. So let's stay with the Swede. He's got 1 corner to go. See if he can improve his time and whether he can get provisional pole position. Yes, he can improve, but he did lose a bit of time there in the third sector. So only a small improvement. What can Bogey do? He's just a little bit behind on track currently. He's very late on the brakes there. Car trying to get away from him, but he kept it on track. But no improvement there for him. And Gwegwin currently in third. Can Gwegwin improve? Also, the answer to that is no. Gwegwin, by the way, one of the few people driving the Marek, as you can see here. One of the fictional cars in the LMP2 project category here on Project Cars 2. And apparently a diesel with less fuel consumption in comparison to the other cars, but also with a smaller fuel tank, and that's something we'll have to watch out for, because the Marek, most likely, as far as I've heard, and the RWD, the other, let's call it imaginary car, not in real world vehicle. Oh, as Gwegwin is into the gravel there. So these two cars might struggle on pit stops. So most likely we'll have to do 2 stops. That's what I wanted to get at, as Yoguk sets a new fastest lap with 1:51.5. So quite a bit quicker there than Bogefrans. And Yoguk, interesting enough, in the RWD there. And the team with the red and yellow colours. If you need that help to remember what the team is called. So the red and yellow McDonald's colours are called McDonald's Delivery Service. So I hope my burger is still warm when it gets to me, Yoguk. Otherwise, I'll be getting at you. As again, he's up by 6.5 tenths. Did I see that correctly? Wow, what a flyover lap from Yoguk. So let's stay here with him. Oh, you can just see how much speed he's carrying through there. Incredible pace. And I think he might absolutely shred the field if he manages to get this time across the line. We've only got 2.5 minutes remaining. So over the hill looks good, using all the road through Forest Elbow there on exit. Gets very close to the wall as now comes down the Conrad Straight. He's 1 whole second up. He's already on pole, and he's going to improve by 1 second, it seems. He's only got 1 chicane and 1 corner to go. Let's see how does he do through the chase. Line looks clean and fast. And now 1 corner to go. Surely it's going to get across the line. What's the improvement going to be? 1.2 seconds. It's 1:50.2, full 1.5 seconds faster than Bogefrans, who already is a very, very quick drive and absolutely dominated last week's race. So what a time from Yoguk there. Incredible. I've commentated on different kinds of leagues with Yoguk, and he's always super quick. Absolutely incredible how he does it. Question is now, can Bogey or Timberhawks or Gwegwin, can any of those guys pull out a lap to challenge Yoguk there? We've got 1 minute left, so Bogey will finish this lap. Last chance. He's got 5 litres in the tank. Timberhawks also currently out on track. I think he should be able to perhaps do another lap after this one. As he scrapes the wall a bit, that's going to cost him time. And if he has damage, he might have to abort. He's currently up on his time, about 3 tenths. As Bogey's now making his way up the hill. This is going to be his last lap. Yoguk is in the pits. He's not going to improve. We've got quite a few drivers in the pits, as you can see at the moment. Let's see, Timberhawks coming around the final corner. He'll be able to start another lap, but he's got a bit of traffic in front of him. He improves by 4.5 tenths and pushes Bogey Front off the front row. So he will have to improve now if he wants to get back onto that front row. Let's see his second sector split as he comes down onto Conrad Straight. He's also up, and that might be really close for second place. There is Tomahawk's going for another lap. It looks like he is running a bit wide there through Quarry. What can Bogey do? Can he get back past the Swede? It's Norway versus Sweden here in the battle for second place. Doesn't seem like Jog's going to be threatened. Yeah, Tomahawks is now in the pits. He's not going to improve on his time. Can Bogey Franz clinch that second position back? Yes, he can. With a 151.2, goes 4 tenths faster than Tomahawks across the line. And we've still got a couple of drivers on track. So we've got Uni currently in 13th. Surely he'll try and get into the top 10. He only needs a couple of tenths to do that. As he comes across the line. Can he improve? Yes, he can. That's P8 for Uni there with a 152.9. Andrek's still out on track, but he's coming into the pits, so he won't improve. He's currently 14th. There's Kuranik in 15th place, finishing his lap, and he doesn't improve. TPW still out. He's got WMDR Martin right behind him, so he got a bit of cheeky slipstream there. As TPW now coming around the final corner, currently in 18th, Martin in 20th. TPW can't improve, but Martin can. I think that was P15, and that is the qualifying session over. So this is going to be the starting grid. 4-hour race. We've got Jogak on pole position. Bogey Franz is joining him on that first row. Timberhawks was third. Great battle there for second position between the two drivers. Speedigo is going to start in fourth. We've got Gwegwin, S-Turbo, Ultimate Kaiser, Uni, Ritvas Pujats, and Eisenschenk complete the top 10. And I'll show you the final couple of positions as well. So Inky Chris just outside that top 10 position. And they've got Martin. He managed to get up into 15th there in the last couple of seconds. And then further down the grid, we'll have Steve Allen, Admiral Rovrod, and Atomic, who are going to finish on at the back of the grid. And interestingly enough, Atomic didn't set a time, so that's very unfortunate for him. But we're now on the grid of the race. We're going to have 80 minutes of racing. We'll have a manual rolling start, so in case you're not familiar with the manual rolling start procedure here on Apex Online Racing, and haven't seen last week's preseason race where I also explained it, we'll go through that again. So basically, at the moment, obviously everybody's on the grid. They can check their setups and their pit strategies, get everything in order, and then once everybody is ready, I think they've got 2 minutes to do that. Once everybody is ready, obviously the lights will go on and the race will start, quote unquote. But on green, everybody won't bolt off, but pull away slowly and basically do a formation lap like you might see at the start of other racing series. So the leader will lead the way and do about 120, 130 kilometers an hour around the track. Everybody is allowed to warm their brakes and tires, and then at a set point, and in this case it's just after the chase, there's a so-called formation point. So they will form up in a 2x2 grid formation, and I think they will be starting like they're standing now, so odds on the left and evens on the right. And then on the front straight, basically the leader can decide when he wants to go, and then he'll bolt away and the race will be started. So the formation lap should start very shortly, and then we'll get underway with 80 minutes of racing. Yes, there we go. There's the reset. You can see the lobby syncing now. And you can hear the starting lights there, the sound and background, and the race is released. But as you can see, everybody will pull away now and go onto that formation lap. So it's going to be interesting to see, as I've already tried to talk about briefly during qualifying. We have the Marek, the car that Jorg is driving. They probably won't make it on one stop, most likely, so they'll have to do a two-stop strategy, and the RWD might also suffer that same issue. So Jorg is in the RWD, not in the Marek. And the Ligiers will probably only do one stop, so it's definitely going to be interesting. So different tyre and fuel strategies. So we'll see if Jorg is going to try and fuel save to do one stop, or if he's going to try to bolt away, put on softer tyres, and basically make up the time that he's going to lose with an extra stop. So that's something we'll watch out for. And I think that should be a very interesting element to the race tonight. Oh boy, a lot of Andrex fans here tonight. Yeah, he's been racing for quite some time here in AOR on Project Cars, and apparently has quite a fan base. So good for him. I'm not quite sure if he's got the stream open while racing. I'm gonna guess not, but sure he can feel the support. So just on the map here, you can see Jorg is already on the on Conrad Straight, and since they're all on Discord together, it looks like they're choosing to grid up a bit earlier than planned, just because the grid is so spread out. You can see Lonja here still not through Forest Elbow, whereas all the other drivers are now more than halfway down the straight. He'll have to do some catching up. As you can see, there's all the cars ahead of him. As you can see now, everybody lining up. They'll do about 80 kilometers an hour until Jorg starts the race. So let's hope everybody gets through cleanly. And yeah, that's just an absolute delight to see all those cars lined up, waiting to go. A bunch of angry bees waiting to be released as they now come around the final corner. It's going to be Jorg who's going to decide when to go. He's got an area where he's allowed to choose to bolt. And it looks like he's done so now. So the first race of the LMP2 season here is underway. Good start there from Jorg. Bogey getting away nicely. Looks like at the front everybody got away. And now slipstreaming each other here down the first straight up the hill. Got a bit side-by-side action here. That's Inky Chris losing spot to JJ. Oh, and oh, no, that's not good. That's a crash then, I think. Oh, that's a huge accident. I think one of those was Bogey's teammate there. I did see some spoilers flying. I think Andrex is caught up in that as well. Yes, there he is in the back there. So quite a crash there through quarry. A couple of drivers being involved in that. It's very unfortunate. Meanwhile, at the front, Jorg already pulling away 1 second from Bogey, who again has a 2-second gap to Speedigo. So I think these two drivers might be battling out for the lead. Pace-wise, that seems at the moment. Speedigo currently in third, and we've got Tomahawks in fourth. He lost that spot. Try and get it back here, coming down Conrad Straight. And then P5 coming, we've got Gwegwin, AS Turbo, Ultimate Kaiser, Inky Chris, Eisenschenk and Kirovnik in 10th. And expecting to see a couple of drivers coming into the pits at the end of this lap. I think that's 2 cars who are not even over the mountain yet, so they have a long way back to the pits as Speedy Go going defensive there into turn 1. It's not quite close enough. Let's see if Speedy Go hurt his run here. Coming up the hill. Yeah, going defensive again. Tomahawks having a look around the outside here at Quarry, but decides not to go for that risky move so early in the race. We've still got 74 minutes remaining, but the gap behind them is closing. That's Tomahawks in the wall there, getting washed out through the cutting, and yeah, just getting that understeer from the dirty air, and surely that's going to damage his car. He's going to get pressure from behind from Gwegwin. Yeah, you can see he's now struggling with the front end, so that looks like it's hurt his front downforce. So he dropped back a second from Speedy Go. And we've got quite a few cars in the pit lane, so let's see who was involved in that first lap crash. Got Crab, Average Boy, Dusty, I think Rixie also was in, Steve Allen, Fat Scout, Atomic, and yeah, I think Andrex, did he pit? No, he didn't. You can see his front right corner damaged there, light's not working, so looks like he'll try and brave it out till the first pit stop, or I think was the Orica the only pit stop in that case. So we'll try to drive it to the point where you can fill up the tank and go to the end and probably get some repairs done in that time. As we can see, Tomahawk still holding on to that 4th position bravely. But he's got quite the train there behind him. He's got Gwebwin, Ace Turbo, Ultimate Kaiser, Eisenschenk, Inky Chris, Kironik, all behind him. And then behind there we've got Martin and Smolder. You can see it on the map, there's quite a train forming. So that's obviously going to help the top 3 pull away. And at the moment it seems like Yogi is trying to bolt from Bogey France. More than 1.5 seconds quick on that previous lap. Oh, and that's Gwegwin in the wall. And surely he's going to lose time now. That will have damaged the car. Probably not driving straight ahead anymore. And that was a hit through, I think, Filling Park, if I saw that correctly. And that obviously helps Tomahawks out a bit. He also probably has a slightly damaged car. As Gwegwin is now being put under pressure, as AS Turbo having a look up the inside and gets the move done way before they get to the chase. So Gwegwin definitely hurting on straight line speed, it seems, as uses a lot of time on acceleration, and there's Gwegwin diving into the pits. He'll have to come for repairs, probably fill up the tank as he runs a bit wide there coming into pit entry, and unfortunately he'll lose quite a bit of time. But yeah, we were expecting some issues for drivers going over the hill in traffic. So that means Tomahawks is still in 4th. AS Turbo has been released as the first one to hunt the Swede down. Gap currently is 2.5 seconds, but depending on how well Tomahawks can manage his car, that still might come down. we've got a couple of guys in the pits, Ritvars as well, and Andrex has now decided to come in. So that looks like it might, well, most likely will be a switch to a two-stop strategy. By the way, I don't know why the pit crew looks so weird on the replay cameras, I'm sorry for that. And he will emerge outside the top 20, it seems. Currently 22nd, Andrex there. But at least his lights are working again, so he did get some repairs done. Ooh! That was a bit wide there. That's a lapped car trying to get out of the way very awkwardly. So we've got a four-way battle here for P5 at the moment. So that's As Turbo, Ultimate K's, Eisenschenk, and Inky Chris. There's a WMDM Martin having an off there. So I saw he was side by side with battling with JJ, I think. JJ with a bit of damage there. We could see him go through the screen there in the foreground. There's also Martin having trouble with the pit entry. It seems to be a theme tonight. And Inky Chris in the Orica. Still holding on bravely to 8th. The Orica not as quick down the straights as the other cars. Especially with the elevation here at Mount Panorama, I think 800 meters above sea level. The air density does influence the car's performance, and it is a big difference whether you've got a naturally aspirated car or a turbocharged car. Obviously, hello to everyone who's decided to join in the last couple of minutes. You definitely missed a very exciting race start there. And we currently have 67 minutes to go in this race. We've got 10 times time acceleration running in the session. So we'll be, we started basically at sunrise, and then we'll drive through the day, and towards the end of the race the sun should be setting again. Ultimate K is losing a bit of time there to AS Turbo, who himself was losing time to Tomahawk, so he's doing very well in staying in 4th position at the moment. But Ultimate has to watch out for traffic behind as well, so he closes up. He shouldn't be too aggressive and try and force a move. That will cost them both time and get them into trouble from behind. So ideally you want to get the move done on a straight and as early as possible, so you don't have to go side by side into the following corner. But at the moment the gap between the two is 7/10, so not quite close enough. Behind these two, we've got Inky Chris now really putting the pressure on Smolder as he gets really close to the wall there. Trying to make the corner into a straight line as much as possible. The Orica really liking the top of the hill there. So there's a bit of a mistake from Eisenschenk. Oh! And he's actually lost his rear wing, spun around, and I hope Smolder didn't hit him. No, it looks like he got past. Eisenschenk still pointing in the wrong direction. That's going to be an awkward spot to try and spin it around without getting onto the racing line. And he's touched the wall again, trying to spin around there. He'll have to come into the pits because without rear wings these cars become undrivable and you'll lose a huge amount of time. That's very unfortunate for him. So another victim of the mountain. have to come into the pits at the end of the lap and get that damage repaired. So, having a look at the front of the pack, Yogok, only with a 12-second gap there to Bogefrans. But you have to remember that Yogok might have to do a pit stop more. Oh! And there's been a very awkward moment with a lapped car there, who's tried to turn in on Yogok and has spun into the wall there. I think I didn't catch who that was, unfortunately. See if I can find it on my list. No, unfortunately I'm not quite sure who of the two that was. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Yog didn't get any damage from that. The car looks fine, but on Project Cars 2 it's unfortunately sometimes a bit hard to see whether there's any damage from the spectator view. But at the moment he's continuing. Didn't lose too much time. But yeah, that definitely was a scary incident there for the current race leader. In second we've got Bogefrans, who won the pre-season race last week. He's currently sitting in second. And then we've got Speedy Go there in third position. Another 2.5 seconds back. Two Mohawks in fourth. We've got AS Turbo in P5. Ultimate Kaiser in P6. Then we've got Inky Chris in the Orica. Smolder, JJ, and Face Grinder 666. Rounding up the top 10. There's Ultimate now trying to get back on to the tail of AS Turbo there in the fight for P5. As we're closing in onto the hour mark. Got Stephen Carey and Admiral Lovrod both into the pits. It looks like Yog did lose a bit of time. Not quite sure if that was just due to being held up in that incident or if his pace has dropped. Because last lap time definitely was slower than Bogies, so we'll have to have an eye out on that as he comes down onto Conrad Straight. We'll just check whether his lap time, his current lap time dips back into the 54s. It's obviously where he wants to be if he wants to maintain the gap. And it says the lap was a 2-minute 2. Not quite sure if that's correct. But did lose more time, to be fair. So Bogefrans will 153.8. So yeah, maybe Yogok has some damage, and actually he's got a penalty of 3 seconds. Not quite sure where he picked that one up. But that means virtually the gap between the top two is now down to 5.5 seconds. As we've got someone on the wall there. So I will have an eye out on that, but we'll switch back here to the battle for 5th place. Well, Ultimate did close up to AS Turbo and then had that traffic right in front of him going through Quarry, and that cost him about half a second, and the gap is back to about 1.3 seconds as it was a couple of laps ago. So sometimes the way it is with lap traffic. Sometimes you gain, sometimes you lose. You feel like you lose more often, but I think on average, most of the race, it stays about equal. So 1.5 seconds, the gap between the two. looks like he lost a couple more tenths through the top of the mountain. So maybe that's where AS Turbo is a bit stronger. As Yogurt comes into the pits now. Not quite sure if that's a scheduled stop, but after just 20 minutes of racing, I think it might not be, unless he's been going for a two-stop strategy, maybe just pulled this one forward a bit, but he's going to fall back into traffic. So Bogey Franz, now our new race leader. He's got a 3.5 seconds second gap to Speedy Go. Let's see where Yogurt re-emerges. He's still in the pits, so a very long stop. So surely he's filled up that tank. Might have gotten some repairs done. As I've said, I'm not quite sure if he got any damage from that incident with the lap car. And he might actually even drop outside the top 10. So that's how much time a pit stop takes. As he rejoins in 11th, he might lose that spot as well to Kieronik, Polish driver, as they go side by side actually here up the hill. And it looks like, yeah, looks like Yogurt actually does lose that spot. And is now down into 12th. So that's definitely spiced things up. Yogurt most likely is now on a two-stop strategy. I don't think he can do a full hour on a tank of fuel. A full hour of racing, that is. Let's go on board here with him. That's the cockpit view. It's quite scary there, going over the mountain right behind the other driver. He's really putting the pressure on. He's obviously trying to not lose too much time here in traffic. As a Kieronik actually defending here, coming into Force Elbow. That's not really the best move there, as he's going to hurt his run out of the corner. Oops, sorry, as I hit my microphone. Excuse me for that. And surely Yogurt is now going to have a look. Goes to the inside, through the kink here as they come down into the chase. And Yogurt way late on the brakes, locks up the front left, slides the rear, but gets through the corner nicely, and that's him up into 11th. So we might see a game of catch-up here from Yogurt. Meanwhile, back towards the front, we can see AS Turbo as now slowly driven towards the back of Tomahawks here for what is now third position after Yogurt's pit stop. As AS Turbo hit the wall there. I just wanted to say some lapped car was sideways there on the outside of the corner, and then I think that put AS Turbo a bit off, and he missed his line and just went into the wall on the outside. And, that did lose him some time. Hopefully no damage for him. Meanwhile, Yogurt has caught up to the next car. That's the Gnome ahead. Oh, I was thinking about having a look here through Skyline and into the guesses. But it's really not any overtaking opportunities up here. It's really a single file affair over the mountain. And it's oh no! Oh, that's been a big crash, and Yogurt's been involved in it. I think that's Smolder. Yeah, Smolder was involved in that, and not quite sure who the other one was. I think that might have been the lapped car of... no, it's not Eisenschenk. But yeah, Yogurt involved in a huge accident there. That surely has given him a lot of damage, and he's literally just been into the pits. So worst timing there. As you can see, he's got no front downforce. He's even struggling to get through the kink there down Conrad Straight. I think he has to pit again for damage, because surely he can't continue like that. Yeah, that's him back into the pits, and I think that might have now finally, or in the end now, absolutely put the nail in the coffin for his ambitions to win this race. Obviously, unless Bogey has this stream running in the background, he won't know about it. So he still might think Yogurt pitted for its two-stop strategy. So Yogurt and Face Grinder was the other one involved in that. And Smolder as well, who I think has retired. We're down to 26 drivers now. So another big accident. I mean, just look at that car coming into the pits with just a huge amount of damage. And that was against someone in the wall. I did just catch that. But in that time I couldn't see who it was, unfortunately. Yeah, that's... is that TPW? Looks like it, yeah. He's definitely struggling and trying to get back into the pits, but he's basically lost the whole front end and the whole rear end of the car. So he's currently really a bit of a danger here on that straight, going so slow. We've got a couple of drivers now starting to struggle. Obviously you need to keep the concentration high over the 80-minute race. And that's another victim of the mountain there. Yes, I'm very sure Yogurt is going to make a decent comeback. He's still a very, very quick driver. He's got his car repaired now. That was a 3-minute 10 lap, and I think he was... No. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've commentators cursed him. He's been in the wall again. I think he's retired now. Ah, what a disappointment for Yogurt. He was leading the race. He had really good pace, but yeah, it all started with that lapped car that kind of got in his way, and he had contact with, and then lost time, decided to make an early pit stop, which put him into traffic. And with that traffic there came another incident with damage. Came in and had to repair the damage, and yeah, came out of the pits and had another incident through quarry, which made him retire. So we've already lost 7 drivers, and the first half hour of the race is not even done yet. So definitely a race of attrition here tonight. And just having a look in chat, guys. Please, even if you have strong feelings to what has happened on track or happens on track, please always think about you know, staying nice and keeping up the netiquette. And I'm sure there'll probably be some stewards' inquiries after this race. I wouldn't be surprised. As AS Turbo now having a look at Toomberhawks here coming through quarry, but he wasn't quite close enough, so sticks in behind. What you think about this is the Battle Paw P3. That battle is allowing Ultimate to catch up to the two and perhaps make it a 3-way fight. Ooh, AS Turbo running wide there through Skyline. That's lost him some time. And I'll be under pressure from Ultimate from behind. Toomberhawks will like seeing that in his rear view mirror. Let's see, smallest mistakes here on this track are instantly punished. On the top of the hill there's walls right next to the track in most areas. And if the walls aren't right next to the track, usually there's grass or gravel there. No tarmac runoffs. There's a bit of lock up there from AS Turbo through the chase. And Ultimate now really putting the pressure on. Timberhawks will hope that these two behind him will start quarrelling and fighting for that 4th place. So he can pull away. Gap currently 1 second. So AS Turbo still should get a bit of slipstream. 1.2 seconds now. That's about the gap where you stop feeling the slipstream. You can see AS Turbo is now definitely gaining. I think my slipstream distance is about, I think, 1.5 seconds. We're about, this is about where it kicks in. There's a bit of a wiggle there from Timberhawks through the cutting on the exit up the hill. Ooh, I think AS Turbo got very close to the wall there. I think he might have just scraped it. Scraping a bit of paint off his off the car. AS Turbo running the number 12 livery car, part of Midfield Mowing Machines. That's the team name. Looks like on this lap everything's staying the same order. Gap between the cars about 0.8 each. And we've got Matt 58 into the pits. This could be a scheduled pit stop. We've done about 33 minutes of racing now. We've got 47 minutes remaining, so that sounds like a reasonable time to stop. So I think pit window is opening now for the one-stoppers. There's still no change between the three. Three of them running the Leisure JSP2, that's the full chassis name. Just checking if they're also all running the popular Nissan engine. So AS Turbo with the Nissan as is Ultimate, and Timberhawks also. So everybody's got the same material here in this fight. You can see AS Turbo struggling a bit here up or over the hill. There's a drop back 1.5 seconds an hour. And he's got Ultimate right behind him. There's some lapped traffic getting out of the way there. Ultimate might get a chance to have a look into the chase. I think AS Turbo is getting just a bit of slipstream from the lap car and from Timberhawks. Oh, and there's a bit of a slide there. He goes wide, and that gives Ultimate the chance to go around and up into 4th place. AS Turbo with a small mistake there gets punished, and now he decides to come into the pits for his one and only pit stop of the race. 45 minutes left in the session, so we're closing in on the halfway point, and AS Turbo has pulled the trigger to come in for a pit stop. We've got Dusty following Monja for 12th place, that is, as they come through the cutting. Uni, welcome to the chat. Yes, Yoguk is out of the race. He had an incident with a lapped car, which I think damaged his car a bit. And hurt his pace. He then came in for a pit stop. going to a two-stop strategy, and I think getting some repairs done as well, I'd guess. And he came out of the pits, but obviously now in traffic because of his early stop. And then in traffic he had another incident. Well, I think two guys in front of him, I'm not sure if they also had issues with a lapped car or if they just came together on their own. But yeah, I think that was through Forest Elbow. As Dusty now getting past Melonja here through the kink. Move very early done. Well done, Dusty. And he's now up into 12th. Getting back on the Yog topic, yeah, through Forest Elbow, there was a crash in front of him that he couldn't avoid. So he literally had just come out of the pits and got involved in an incident again. Car was damaged, so he came in again to get the repairs done. And as he came out of the pits, I'm not quite sure if it was on his out lap or one lap after, but through Quarry again another incident. That time I couldn't see if there was another car involved or not, but yeah, he lost the front end of the car basically again and retired from the race after that third crash. Currently only one driver with a penalty, that's Rick Vars, with currently 1 second. Obviously with the track limits being walls or grass, it's a bit more difficult to get time penalties here than at other tracks. And now with AS Turbo stopped, that's now Ultimate Kaiser hunting down Tomahawks for 3rd position. It's going to be interesting to see where these guys rejoin after their respective pit stops, as AS Turbo has already pulled the trigger. Oh, and I think Tomahawks had a bit of an issue there coming over the hill. He's lost quite a bit of time. Got got Ultimate right behind him now, so he might be vulnerable coming into the chase. But he's had a good run through Forest Elbow, so 7.5 tenths the gap, so that should be enough to stay ahead for Tomahawks, unless he has damage that hurts his top end speed, but at the moment looks fine, so he stays ahead for now and holds on to that 3rd position. Yeah, Kiki Mac, it's definitely an interesting car and track combination, that's for sure. Fun to drive when you get it right, but obviously very easy to get it wrong as well. I think that might be a similar case at the Nürburgring as well, because obviously in real life the fastest cars that usually drive around there are GT3 cars. So the LMP2 cars obviously quite a bit quicker, as Ultimate Kaiser is now having a look round the outside as they come into Quarry. Oh, that was very close between the two cars. I thought they might touch. Looks like Tomahawks ran a bit wide there. Ultimate trying to get the cut back, but doesn't get the run as they come up to the cutting. And there's actually a car stopped on track, and Tomahawks could just avoid it. Had to absolutely smash on the brakes, but I mean, he kept his car clean damage-wise, but unfortunately he lost the spot to Ultimate. So that was very unfortunate. I'm not quite sure why that car was stopped there. Probably had just hit the wall, lapped car ahead of them. And that gave Ultimate the chance to get past. I think one went left and one went right. It looks like Ultimate made the right decision, but still good reflexes there from Tomahawks, the Swede, to not crash into that stationary car there coming through the cutting. Fat Scout is into the pits. Probably also a scheduled stop, I guess. It looks like his pit entry was a bit slow. Both Ultimate and Tomahawks staying out for now. Looks like they are running a longer first stint than AS Turbo is. Quite a bit long, actually. AS Turbo came in about 6 minutes ago, I think, with 45 minutes remaining. So currently under 40 minutes now, so we've reached the halfway point of the race. And currently leading the race after Yogurt's multiple incidents and DNF. It's Bogey Fronts leading the way. 6 seconds behind him is Speedy Go, and then there's quite a gap to the driver in third place. That's currently Ultimate Kaiser. I've got Tomahawks, Inky Chris, still strong in fifth. Had a quite quiet race. Not too much traffic-wise around him, or not too many battles. Not quite sure about lap traffic, obviously. But yeah, he's keeping it clean, he's keeping it consistent, doing a good job in the Orica. Car was said to be on quite a straight line speed disadvantage around here. Obviously because of the long straights, the powertrain and the elevation. And Speedio coming into the pits. So, first one of our current top 3 to make a stop. And that is Speedio coming in from second. Well, I think he'll probably end up somewhere around P5, I'd guess. Looking at the gaps, so we'll have to wait and see. Then we have Ultimate getting past him, I think. Yeah, Ultimate is about to lap his teammate. It's obviously not something you want to hear as the driver being lapped. And Speedigo has finished his pit stop and is now going to exit in what seems to be P5. I think that's lap traffic. So he's got a 10-second gap ahead and 20 seconds behind to the next driver. Lap traffic lets him pass, that's very kind. JJ, the next driver to come into the pits, looks like he probably will have to do some repairs as well, as he has a bit of damage there on the front right-hand side of the car. Ultimate and Tomahawks still out. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see where those guys rejoin compared to AS Turbo, who stopped earlier than these two. Crab also into the pits, and our race leader Bergefranz is into the pits now for his stop. But I think his gap might be big enough, although no, he's probably still gonna end up behind Inky Chris. We'll have to wait and see. The timing board has gone a bit funny at the moment, as Ultimate now also coming into the pits, currently in second place. Timberhawks following him, so we'll see where these two guys end up in relation to AS Turbo. Both running a bit wider in pit entry. We've seen quite a few drivers doing that. Bogey has finished a stop. Inky Chris also coming in, so that won't be an issue. And Speedy Go coming around the final corner as Bogey Franz actually exits in the lead. So no traffic issues there for him, and it looks like he's got a bit of a clear track ahead of him as well. So we've got Ultimate, Inky Chris and Tomahawks all into the pits, whereas AS Turbo at the moment, that looks like the exit of the chase. Yes, it is. He's now coming towards the final corner. Ultimate is out of his pits, so is Tomahawks. No changing there. Inky Chris also exiting. Kurnik is in as well, as is Average Boy and Exus. And AS Turbo is actually now coming around the first corner, and I think he's right behind Tomahawks there. Yeah, yes he is. So that strategy not quite working out for AS Turbo. as is not quite close enough to make a move happen here into Quarry. So the new order here at the front after pit stops is Bogey France in first, Speedy Go in second, and then the battle for third is Ultimate Kaiser, Tomahawks, and AS Turbo, and Inky Chris steady in P6. Kirinik now exiting the pits, and the Gnome is also in for a stop. And I think most of the drivers should have been in the pits by now. 24 drivers still remaining in this race. Ooh, that looked like a bit of a slide from AS Turbo there, going over the crest. That surely would have been a little scary perhaps. And he's very close to Tomahawks in front. It's the onboard view from AS Turbo. And surely he's going to make a move now, coming down into the chase. No, actually not. Not quite close enough. So we'll have to wait till the next straight. But it doesn't take too long to get there. 90-degree left across the start-finish line. And another 90-degree left. And then AS Turbo might get another chance. But there's a lap car in the way. We can see Tomahawks flashing it in. Come on, get out of my way. I'm battling for fourth here. And driving nicely does. AS Turbo trying to get a bit of slipstream as well to help him stay ahead. AS Turbo, Tomahawks getting that slipstream. AS Turbo will not be liking that help. And yeah, he was directly behind him, but they both had slipstream, so no advantage there for any of the drivers. And the order stays as is for the moment. Oh, and again, AS Turbo's really struggling through that corner. I think it's always it's a bit difficult to see with the camera angles which corner that actually is. I think that's Salmon Park. He's constantly scraping the outside wall there. Not quite sure how hard the contact needs to be for him to concede any damage. But yeah, that's obviously not optimal. You can see he lost a couple of tenths there. And now won't be close enough to try and get past Tomahawks there. So you can see Ultimate and Eisenschenk there. Is it Eisenschenk? I think it's another lap driver. But yeah, Ultimate is a couple of seconds ahead, 2 seconds to be exact. Yeah, Eisenschenk is, has already been lapped by all of them. So, 3 tenths behind now, coming up Mountain Straight. Maybe this time he's close enough, it looks like he's gaining, so we go to the inside or to the outside. No, he stays behind for now. There's Turbo not being very aggressive at this point in the race. Obviously you've still got over 30 minutes remaining in the session, so no need to panic right yet. There's a Crab into the pits, as is Steve Allen, currently in 23rd in the Euronics liveried car. The Gnome just picked up a 1 second penalty somewhere, but at the moment not affecting his finishing position. Dusty, the race leader's teammate, is now also into the pits. Currently in 10th position. And again, AS Turbo lost time coming over the mountain. So it seems as if Tomahawks is a bit stronger there, which means AS Turbo usually uses Conrad straight to get closer there, as he has a huge moment as he goes over the curbs and onto the grass or the dirt there on the outside of Murray's corner there. Having a bit of slide there, but catching it. He could have easily spun off into the inside concrete wall, which he averted, but it did cost him over a second. So a gap now 1.7 seconds to Tomahawks. And as I say that, there's been an incident. Was that Dusty? Yeah, Dusty had literally just pitted, probably on cold tyres, and washed out in quarry and hit the outside wall, and is now driving without the front of his car, so he'll have to come back into the pits, unfortunately. Luckily, Tomahawks and AS Turbo got past that incident without any issues. And I was just switching to Stephen Carey because I saw that he was close to Melonja, and as I did that, he has a bit of a moment there through the cutting, oversteer on exit, and hit the left side wall. You can see the rear wing is dented, so sorry for that commentator's curse. And again, AS Turbo has lost time through the second sector compared to Tomahawks ahead. So lap 27 and 27 minutes remaining in the session as well. As Ritvars is into the pits, we can see he's got some damage. That's Dusty there ahead of him, who we saw crash early on this lap. Coming in for repairs. So looks like now we've reached a point in the race where everybody has split out a bit. You can see the gap between first and last currently is 8.5 minutes, so about over 4 laps actually. AS Turbo there with understeer, and there was I think that was the gnome, yeah, sideways. On the racing line in the S's. Not quite sure if that was what put AS Turbo off. But he definitely slid into the tyre barrier there on the outside. And surely that hurt his front right corner there. And probably lose some time now with that damage, surely. But I don't think it's going to be bad enough that's worth for a stop, but that's obviously for the driver to feel, so it's hard to tell from the outside. So looks like at the moment he'll have to settle for 5th. Doesn't look like he can get back into the fight for 4th or even 3rd. But he will have to keep the pace up. Inky Chris, 6 seconds behind him, will gladly take that top 5 position if AS Turbo struggles. With 25 minutes remaining in the session. I think we should have seen all pit stops, even for the 2 stoppers. Obviously, Wegwin was our prime candidate to be on 2 stop, but he's not in the race anymore. As Kiranik comes in, we can see rear wing missing on his car, so he'll come in for some damage repairs. I think Matt58 probably doing the same, because he's in a Ligier, so he should be able to do a one-stop strategy, but I think that damage has shuffled things around there for him. Yeah, Average Boy up into 10th. Not quite sure where his starting position was. Does it tell on the timing board? No, unfortunately it doesn't. I like to quick print the qualifying leaderboard sometimes, but unfortunately that's not really an option in the time that it's there. So just looking at the drivers with penalties here, both with only 1 second, so at the moment not influencing their final position, although Eisenschenk is only 1.1 seconds behind the Gnomes, so he definitely has caught some slipstream here, coming down Mountain Straight, or up Mountain Straight, I think is the better phrasing there, considering that most of it is uphill. So if Eisenschenk can put some pressure on, even if he can't get past, he might still nick that 11th spot off the Gnome. Oh, and I say that there's a spin from Eisenschenk into the wall, and I've been told to say he's Eisenschenked it when that happens. Not quite sure on that inside joke, but yeah, quite a hard hit. I'm surprised he didn't lose the whole front end on that, but looking how he's going through the corners, he definitely did pick up damage there, and that's how quickly that fight for 11th has ended again. Looks like a bit of commentators cursing going on today. I'm very sorry about that, or maybe it's just a lot of drivers struggling. Interestingly enough, Tomahawks has caught up to Ultimate here for 3rd place, so I'm wondering if Ultimate had some sort of issue, because I think the gap was 2 or 3 seconds before. So it looks like a battle for 3rd place has opened back up, with just over 20 minutes left in the race. Currently the top 8 cars are on the lead lap. So definitely quite a bit of lap traffic now going on after almost 1 hour of racing. Let's see how Tomahawk's pace is over the mountain, because he always was quite a bit quicker compared to AS Turbo. Not quite sure how it's going to be versus Ultimate now in the dirty air as well, being in traffic, that's what I wanted to say. But yeah, it looks like he's very good through the S's. Dropping back down, and he's gaining. He's now got half a second of gap. That would be great if Ultimate wasn't getting any slipstream, but you can see we've got some lap cars ahead here, so that might be a bit of a problem. As you can see, yeah, Tomahawk's actually losing time compared to Ultimate. And very brave into the chase, let's put it that way. Very late on the brakes, considering there were slow cars going through the chicane. Let's see if it pays off. He's only 2/10 behind. Maybe he can try and shape up a move coming into Quarry. Oh, that looks like a bit of a slide there through the first corner. Yep, that cost him a couple of tenths. That hurt his run. That's not what he wanted. He got washed wide there. Lost downforce behind Ultimate. And that really hurt him. And destroyed the opportunity he might have had into this corner as he runs very wide there on the exit of Quarry. And he'll have to try and gain back a couple of tenths. And then get back into the slipstream and see if you can get past. Grab into the pits again, guessing for damage. Dusty, after his repairs, back out in 15th place, currently behind X's. I think X's and the Gnome are teammates, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check that before I say something wrong. If I can find them on the list, because there's so many drivers. I can't find it in the short amount of time, but they're definitely running similar liveries. As X's had a bit of a moment there, the outside wall in Quarry, and that's allowed Dusty to slip through into 14th place, and I think he was just actually lapped by his teammate Bogey as well. Just having a look here back at the battle for third. Looks like Tomahawks has dropped off a bit. It's currently in traffic, lapping a couple of cars. And gap at the moment is 1.5 seconds. It looks like Ultimate lost a bit of time through Quarry. Lost half a second. Doesn't look like any traffic was involved, so maybe just a big old slide going uphill. As we go on board here with Tomahawks, we haven't been on board in quite a while here now, going down the mountain through the S's. See, it's very tight, and there's some lap traffic in the way as well now. See, that's the gap between third and fourth at the moment. It always helps motivate you to try and go a bit quicker when you at least can see the person you're driving against. When you're a pit stop apart and virtually fighting for track position, or if the driver's still quite a bit away and you're catching up. It just doesn't feel the same compared to when you can see the gap to the car ahead. Tomahawks is now coming across the start-finish line to start lap number 33. Oh no, Average Boy into the pits. He was missing the front end of the car and has to come in for repairs. Obviously means he's gonna lose a couple of spots and drop back out of the top 10. It's very unfortunate, considering this race was going fairly well. Top 10 would have been a decent finishing position. Top 20, by the way, get points, and there's an extra point awarded for fastest lap and for pole position. So even if, or considering that Yogok has DNF'd, he'll at least still get that pole position point, and I'm not quite sure if he might also get a fastest lap point. I haven't been keeping track on those. Although on the bottom right it still says fastest lap Yogurt, but that race feed is not necessarily to be trusted because sometimes it just stops updating. And Average Boy back out in 15th, so lost 5 seconds, but 5 positions, sorry, but X's is right ahead of him there. Back to the fight for third. The gap at the moment is still hovering between 1.5 and 2 seconds. As was that Eisenschenk in the background? I think no. I think someone has a similar livery to Ultimate and Eisenschenk, and I always keep confusing them for one of the two. So I'm unsure at the moment who spun into the wall there. Might have been either Fat Scout or Face Grinder. Yeah, there he is. Without the front of the car, so he'll have to come in for a repair stop. As Average Boy, one of the few RWD drivers, closing in onto the back of Exus. Let's see if we can get close enough coming into the chicane. Nope, not quite close enough at the moment. So now the run through Hell Corner will be important to set up the move. Coming up mounted straight, and you can see a bit of a lock up there from Exus. That's going to help Average Boy, surely. It's now deep into the slipstream. Pull out now, pull alongside. And I think he might be able to get this move done before the corner. No. Oh, yes. Exus concedes the position. Sees that he's not quicker. And doesn't fight it too hard, even though he did have the inside there. But we've seen quite a couple of incidents in Quarry. So maybe not risking it with only 12 minutes to go. It's been a good idea. No! Average Boy, it's just hit the wall, then you're outside and gone into a half spin there. And he's now right on the racing line. That's not the spot you want to stop. And he's lost the engine cover there. And I guess that's going to mean another stop. That's very unfortunate for him. Gap up the front, still about the same. We're closing in onto the 10 minutes remaining mark. So last lap, Tomahawks did lose quite a bit of time, about 7/10. So guessing either some sort of small mistake or some traffic holding them up. But yeah, at the moment the gap's staying about the same. I think we can see slowly that the day is progressing. Shadows are starting to get a bit longer again. Not quite sure. Was that Dusty? No. Oh yes, it was. Dusty back into the pits for some damage repairs. Was worried for a moment that that was bogey, but I think he doesn't need to risk it anymore. He's currently doing a 54.3. Speedy Go actually last time around only had a 58. So he must have been held up massively or something. Losing 4 seconds there. quite a long stop there for Face Grinder. Still getting his repairs done, but then again he had a very big impact, so there's a lot of damage to be fixed for sure. As we're just going to stay with these front few cars for the last couple of minutes. There's the sun now slowly setting. Looks like at the moment Tomahawks can't really keep up with Ultimate, so maybe some tyre wears kicked in for him, and just doesn't have the grip anymore compared to Ultimate ahead. As you can see, he's dropping off, and actually I think AS Turbo is slowly but surely catching back up. Just having a look here, looks like a smaller battle here for 17th. 20 drivers remaining in the race. Means if everybody finishes, they'll get some points. That's actually the two teammates. And we saw Fat Scout flashing his lights there, indicating, yep, I'll let you go. More quicker than me. So a bit of team orders there. Next car ahead would be Rixie. Gap is currently 5 seconds, but there's only 7.5 minutes left on the clock, plus obviously the remainder of that lap. So unless Rixie has some issues, it might be a bit difficult to close in. And as I say that, the gap goes down by a second. You can see the red car of Rixie there ahead of Face Grinder. Just a couple of 100 meters down the road. And I think Rixie is really struggling. He's lost another 2 seconds now. So surely Face Grinder will have a chance now. Wasn't expecting that, so maybe Rixie is trying to nurse a damaged car home. Not quite sure on that. Last lap was a 2-minute flat, so not very quick. And I think he's touched the wall on the outside there, so if he didn't have damage before, he sure has it now, as Face Grinder moves up into 16th position. Ultimate, interestingly enough, not running any lights at the moment, so not quite sure how dark it will get here towards the end of the race. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so I think the race should end around about sunset. So maybe not absolutely necessary to finish with the lights on. Though I personally always have them on because I just think it looks cool. Racing with the LMP cars. Yesterday, for instance, I was taking part in a social race series where we raced the Orica around Spa, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, things unravelled. But if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. It's obviously on my private channel, not on AOR, because it was not an official AOR series, just an AOR social race series. So, at the moment, all very clean at the front. Not quite sure if everybody's still risking it 100%. You can see Tumblehawks is now slowly gaining back on ultimate. He's obviously going to try and finish on the podium. But as things look, we've only got maybe 3 laps to do it. And you can see Bogey not really risking it anymore. I mean, he's still quick for the 154.1, but we know he can go quicker. At least a couple of tenths or maybe a second. But no need. Gap to Speedy go behind. Currently 21 seconds. And looking at the clock, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 laps left. As he backs off a bit to avoid starting another lap. But yeah, fuel-wise, he's perfectly fine. He's still got 20 litres left in the tank. That's more than enough to finish in these last couple of laps. Tumblehawk still slowly gaining. Gap now down to 2 seconds. Question is, will he be able to mount a challenge here in the last couple of minutes? That traffic could help him with that. Also could stop him from doing that. Brixie in for another stop. As the lap traffic getting out of the way for ultimate there. Is he going to let Tomahawks pass as well? Yes, he does. Very gentlemanly. Ultimate now also switching on his headlights because it's getting quite dark. You can see here from the onboard. You can definitely see the difference from headlights being on now. And the gap still slowly coming down between the two. Last lap, Tomahawks gained about 4.5 tenths. See if we can manage to do the same this lap. As it looks like, yeah, bogey friends. Crossing the line with about 1 minute 45 left in the session. So he won't start another lap, so lap number 41 will be the final lap for him on his way to a good result. Not trying to jinx it yet. Also means just 1 lap after this remaining for Tomahawks. And currently the gap's still just under 2 seconds, so he might not be close enough. Let's just have a look at everyone's penalties. They all have 1 second, but they all have enough of a gap to not lose any positions, so that's not going to change much. As the last minute is now ticking down on the clock. And it looks like Tomahawks, unless anything crazy happens now in the last couple of seconds, he won't be close enough to mount a late challenge here for 3rd position. Still a very decent race from him, obviously from everyone else at the front. And basically everybody who's made it to the end, considering how many incidents there were. So switch back to bogey as the clock now ticks down to 0. Bogey will now come around the final corner as there's a bit of an incident there ahead of him, but he finished the race in 1st position to win the 1st race here in the LMP2 League at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. Great result there from Bogey. absolutely deserved. Clean race, controlled, quick, and that's a well-deserved win there for him. Speedy Go, having a fairly quiet race there, finishing in second place. Good result there for him. And yeah, Tomahawks has gotten closer to Ultimate. Gap is now 1.2 seconds, but he's only got a couple of corners to go. Unless Ultimate gets nervous. Looks like he should be fine. One final corner for him. And there we go, that's third position for Ultimate Kaiser there. Very good job. Tomahawks finishing just behind in fourth after a long battle there with Ultimate. AS Turbo is going to come home in fifth as it seems. Inky Chris has caught up quite a bit. Gap is only, I think, a second now, but it's not going to be close enough. Still a very good result for the Orica driver, finishing in sixth position. And Ritvas here with his 1 second penalty, finishing in seventh. And yeah, is actually the final driver on the lead lap. And I think one of the last to cross the line. So that is the final results for you. Got Bogey France winning the race, Speedy Go in second, Ultimate Kaiser in third, Tomahawks in fourth, AS Turbo P5, Inky Chris P6, Ritvars P7, JJ 8th, Kiranik 9th, and then we've got the Gnome in 10th position, rounding up the top 10. And then the second half of the finish of Stephen Carey, Exus, M. Longer, got Eisenschenk in 14th, Matt 58 in P15. And once the scoreboard appears, there it is. The last couple of positions, Face Grinder, TPW, Rixie, Fat Scout, and Admiral Loverod have all finished, and Crab and Steve Allen have unfortunately retired, as have done a lot of other drivers. I think we started with 32, so 12 retirements this race after these 80 minutes here at Mount Panorama. So let's switch to this screen, and I'll be joining the AOR Discord server, and we'll see if we can gather up a few drivers for some post-race interviews. So let's see. There we go, into the commentary box. And yeah, we'll see if we can get a few drivers in for an interview. We'll give them a couple of seconds after that very interesting race. I feel there's going to be a lot to talk about between the drivers. And yeah, hopefully we can get at least the podium drivers in for an interview. And then we'll see. Thank you, obviously, everyone who has been watching so far. Hope you enjoyed the race. And then after the interviews, we'll have a bit of a look what we can expect in the next couple of weeks for this series. We've already got a few drivers coming into the Ready for Interview channel, but none of the top 3 so far. Obviously, if the drivers are watching, depending on how many drivers are willing to do interviews, might not be able to interview everyone. That I think that would just take up a bit too much time, and to be perfectly honest, I mean, 32 drivers, it's not always possible for me as a single person to follow how everybody race has done, and obviously that would impact the quality of the questions. So, looks like still some discussion going on, but some drivers slowly getting ready. It's okay, we'll give them some time to cool down, take a sip of whatever cool beverage they prefer, and then join for a interview. And there we go. First one that we will speak to is our Top 3 finisher. It's Ultimate. Good evening.
Good evening. How
Yes. Are you? I'm fine. How are you feeling after this race? Surely must have felt like quite a long one.
Yeah, I feel very sweaty right now, and also relieved. Had really a lot of pressure from Tomba and also Astra Turbo, I think he's called, behind me. But to the front, no way catching those guys. So I'm very, very happy with P3 tonight.
Yeah, we saw that there was quite a battle going on back and forth. It wasn't easy to see who's going to come out on top, especially with AS Turbo opting to do an early pit stop, trying to do something different with the strategy. How confident were you that the strategy choice was the right one and the pace would be enough to finish on that podium step?
Well, I was always going to go to the pits as late as possible, just to avoid the most traffic. I think once Astra Turbo, AS Turbo was going into the pits, Tomba and me still had some blue flag incidents. And Tomba was lucky to get out in front of him, but I was very confident about the one stop itself. So, yeah, was a close one, but very happy.
Obviously, congratulations to that podium finish. You're expecting to finish there more often, seeing how the first round and obviously the preseason round went?
Well, yeah, I'm always aiming for it, of course. So I'm looking for around P2, P3 for this championship for sure. But there are a lot of fast guys, for example, like Yogurk, which sadly retired tonight, which are still going to be hard to beat. So I'm aiming for it, but nothing's decided yet.
All right. So obviously, good luck to you, and see you next week, I guess.
Yeah, see ya. Thanks for the commentary.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. All right, just having a look at who is still in the drivers' lobby and who's in the interview lobbies. It seems like our race winner Bogey, unfortunately, he is not going to be there for an interview tonight, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have liked to interview him as race winner. He was in the interview channel last week as well, since he won the pre-season race. But let's just go for the next driver, and that's TPW, and I think he's actually AOR moderator, so a round of applause. Good evening, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. I think we can give an applause to everyone who finished the race. We actually had, I think you probably kept tabs for that, but we had 12 retirements in the race.
Yes.
It means since we started 32, we only had 20 left, and points are for top 20, so everyone who finished today got points. So I think we can give a round of applause to basically everyone who made it through, no matter how much trouble they ran into.
Yeah, everybody who finished the race today will be rewarded with some points. That's absolutely correct. I'm not quite sure. I think you've had quite some issues. Saw you dropping down and a couple of stops. How bad was it out there? Just tell us from a driver's perspective.
I mean, it was lap 1 was pretty chaotic. We had that big pile up in turn 2. I was part of that. I managed to slow down, so I didn't really hit a lot of people, but some people behind were a little bit slow on the reaction, and they hit me, and then it all kind of spiraled into a big pile up. So I got some damage from that. I managed to get it going again, and the annoying thing about the RWD is it's a turbo charge. So basically, and the turbo lag is like really bad. The turbo doesn't come on until like 5,000 RPM. So yeah, I was basically just stranded there trying to get it off the line, and people overtaking me left, right, and center. And then to top it off, for the next corner, just before the cutting, I don't know who it was, but someone spun in front of me, which put me basically all the way down to last place. So I had to run with some damage for basically until I had to pit. It wasn't too bad. I was a little bit down on top speed, so I decided to actually just race with it. And then about 10 minutes before I actually had to pit for fuel, I spun myself by my own fault in turn 2, and then had a guy coming from behind who didn't see me, and we collided, and I basically just completely destroyed the suspension of the car. I couldn't keep it straight, so I basically had to go all the way from turn 2 and then all the way to the end of the lap with this damage, and then get into the pits. And then I was basically down to, I think it was second to last. So, and then I kind of started to lose focus, and I made some small annoying mistakes that I shouldn't make. Rather. So yeah, I kind of just went downhill from there. I guess like for the last stint I had, I got a little splash and dash at the end with 15 minutes to go, I think. I actually managed to finally race without damage, which also saw me putting some pretty fast times in, and I managed to be pretty consistent. And I actually went from P19 to P17 on the second to last lap. On the one lap, I gained the 2 positions because someone had underfueled and someone else spun. So yeah, just by keeping it going, I gained 2 positions there. So that goes to show how much value there is in keeping the car.
Yeah, and a couple of points as well. So
yeah, exactly. So.
I'm just going to say congratulations, I guess, even if it's P17. But yeah, gaining a few positions on the last couple of laps is always nice. I just had a little peek at the rest of the calendar, and seeing you obviously experienced AOR driver and part of the staff as well. My eye fell onto the combined Nürburgring. You think that's going to be similar difficulty here compared to Bathurst?
I definitely think it's going to be in the same ballpark. I'm actually looking I'm really looking forward to that race. Probably Mugello next week, and then Nürburgring probably the two races I'm looking the most forward to in the calendar. Obviously, Le Mans is a classic, of course, as well. But I usually do very good for Nürburgring because I usually I didn't really do it in this race, but usually I'm good at keeping the car out of trouble and setting some pretty consistent times, and that's what's worth so much with a huge track like Nürburgring. If you can just keep it clean, you're probably guaranteed to get a good result. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of difficulty, I definitely think it's going to be about the same as Bathurst, but probably even amplified more by the length of the track. So if you get damage at the start of the lap, you're basically going to have to drive with the damage until you get all the way around and then go into the pits. So it's probably maybe even going to be worse for Nürburgring than it was today at Bathurst.
Yeah, I imagine there might also be quite a difference between how much experience drivers have around that track. Guessing that depending on how much hours they've spent driving on it, that some drivers already might know it, by heart, and others will still have to learn it. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, agreeing, I'm definitely looking to the next couple of rounds. And yeah, thank you for coming into the commentary box here for an interview.
Thank you very much, and I will see you next week.
See you next week. All right, next up in the commentary box, it's Mashup Matt 58. Good evening.
Good evening, Thompson.
Yeah, a fellow commentator in the commentary box here. That's a change. Not me alone all for 2 hours, but here we are. Good evening to you, and obviously, first of all, congratulations on actually getting to this point. I've heard it's not been easy. Tell us about it. How was it out there?
Well, it's tough. You know what Bathurst is like, and I'm sure anybody who's in any racing game has done Bathurst. It's particularly tough, but it was mainly a case of just keeping it clean today. I don't think anyone got away without some kind of minor incident, but it was just about keeping it on the track, and to finish where I did, which I can't remember whether it was 15th or 16th, is a pretty decent result for me.
Definitely top half of starters at least.
Yeah.
12 drivers retiring. Not quite sure. I'm guessing you probably probably got involved in some incidents as well during the race, as most drivers did.
Yeah, well, at the start we had a couple of incidents, but I was lucky enough that being far enough back, I was able to react quickly enough and just really tiptoe my way through. A couple of scrapes with the wall, nothing too major, apart from one incident, which hearing from a lot of drivers they've had where they've just slightly touched the wall, and I just had 100% rear damage. But luckily, I wasn't too far away from the pit lane and managed to get back out. But it was mainly about just conservative driving, and quite happy with the pace and the race. Most people were clean, so it's a fairly decent start of the season.
So next week, going to Mugello. How's your experience on the track? Have you driven it much, and are you looking forward to it?
I haven't driven it much. No, I've been on it plenty of times playing MotoGP, but in terms of driving it with an LMP2 car, I haven't done a single lap yet. So that's going to be something for me to get my teeth into now, perhaps over the weekend and next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Mugello is one of those, fast flowing circuits, not many slow corners. I'm really looking forward to it, and especially in these LMP2 cars with the downforce, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I couldn't agree less. I couldn't agree more. Sorry, I'm a bit tired now after that stream. Le Mans is going to be interesting. Maybe I'll get a guest commentator in there, or if you crash out, you can join. Let's knock on wood that doesn't happen, but just in case, the invitation's there. But obviously congratulations to your race result, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye. So actually we've got another one of the top 3 finishers. It's Speedy Go. Good evening.
Good evening.
Obviously, first of all, congratulations to that podium finish. Tell us a bit of the race. It seemed like, for you at least, unlike a lot of other drivers, it was quite a quiet one.
Yeah, it was like tourist foreign F-20 screenshots, close to the wall, about, I don't know, pixel or two. But yeah, it was a great race. It was a great race because it felt like multi-class race, many blue flags, and yeah.
Yeah, I looked like lap traffic was not always easy to maneuver around. Were there any scary moments for you in particular? Because some of the front runners had a couple of them. Especially Jogic, even having to DNF because of them. How was it for you?
Of course, there was 4 or 5 Code Brown moments, unfortunately, but I'm glad that how to put it? I'm sorry, my English is not my main language, so there wasn't contact between anyone, between walls. So yeah, I'm happy about it. But yeah, there was 2 or 3 cars spinning through all the race. I don't know exactly what lap, but yeah, it was fast reactions. Yeah, so thank God it come out good.
All right, obviously congratulations to that finish. You looking forward to the next race in Mugello?
Mugello, I don't have DLC, so yeah. I said to myself, if I finish on podium on Bathurst, I will get somehow DLC. So yeah,
that definitely sounds like a good point of motivation. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming into the commentary box, and perhaps see you next week.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, I'm not quite sure if he's here yet because he's currently muted. But there he is. It's Stephen Carey. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Thompson.
Last of the interviewees. Good evening to you. How was your race? Are you happy with your result?
I am really happy, actually. I was initially happy I survived the carnage in lap 1 and 2. Then I made a mistake and had to pit. Then I made another mistake and had to pit again. But I finished P11. After that was a perfect race.
Yeah,
Fun.
almost into the top 10, and considering 12 DNFs, definitely decent result. Let me have a look at that. That means you gain exactly 10 points for tonight's race. So, congratulations on getting double figures there.
Thank you very much.
Just asking, what was scarier, the just driving, trying to keep it on track on your own, or trying to avoid others who perhaps had some sort of incident or spin? We saw quite a couple of these coming over the mountain, especially, and through quarry as well. How was it navigating through that?
Well, for me it was okay. I only had fair battles with others, and lapped cars were giving space accordingly. Quite good. I was just struggling in the beginning, of course, because I didn't have any practice with myself and the walls.
Well, you mean any? None, or just a little?
Well, I did like 10 hot laps to find a setup, and nothing else.
That sounds like not much,
Yes.
considering the difficulty of the track.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I had as I said, a few problems in the first laps, but then it was fun. I was literally just chasing my own personal best without any mistakes. I'm very happy.
Well, I mean, considering how some drivers struggled tonight, I mean, we even lost the allegedly quickest driver tonight. I think it sounds like finishing is a honourable achievement tonight.
Absolutely.
Looking at difficult track and walls being close to it, in 2 weeks' time we've got the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife coming up. You looking forward to that one?
Oh yes, best track in the world. I'm having so much fun there. I've literally never done it in an LMP2 car, and I have to practice there.
Yeah, how well is your track knowledge? Do you know it by heart yet, or do you still have to learn the corners?
Well, I'd say by heart. From my 700 hours in project cars, I'd say half of them are Nordschleife.
Yeah, I already spoke with Ticklish Pickle Wickle about it, that there might be a big gap in experience on that track between different drivers.
Yeah.
So
that definitely will.
So yeah, so it sounds like you're looking forward to that. Obviously, congratulations to finishing tonight in a decent position, and hope to see you next week. Thank you for coming into the commentary box.
We'll have a look. Depending on how my race goes. Thank you very much for streaming, and then we'll see each other next week, mate.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.
All right, that was everybody through for the interviews. So before we leave tonight, let's have a quick look at the calendar. We've heard it next week. We're going to Mugello, and then the week after it's the Nürburgring combined with the Nordschleife. So today, in 1 week's time, we'll have 8 PM UK starting time. We'll have Mugello 80 minutes around there, and we're definitely going to have an interesting race again, hopefully with less incidents due to the nature of the track being somewhat different, obviously, to Bathurst. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching tonight. So thank you very much. I hope we can see all of you next week for the next round. And my name is and was Thompson, and I was commentating for you tonight. And I wish you all a great evening. Good night.